Today, we are in a Florida city that is unlike any other. While it still has a bunch of that old Florida charm that we have grown to love over the years, at times it'll have you feeling like you're not even in Florida at all.
It's got access to secluded beaches that will make you feel like you're on a remote Caribbean island, and a waterfront neighborhood that feels more like a Mediterranean village than your typical Florida beach town.
Now, the city that we're talking about is Tarpon Springs, and over the next couple of days, we're going to show you why it's a must visit.
Now, Florida definitely does have its fair share of tourist traps, and I initially thought that Tarpon Springs might be one of them because it does have plenty of tourists and a bunch of businesses that cater to them. But after our first trip to Tarpon Springs, we quickly realized that this is not just another manufactured tourist district, but it's a real community with deep cultural roots. It has one of the highest Greek American populations of any city in the United States, has a real working waterfront with sponge boats and fishing activity, and has several long-standing Greek restaurants, markets, and bakeries.
Now, it has been over 4 years since we last visited the sponge docks here in Tarpon Springs, and we are so glad to be back, both to visit some of our old favorites and to go to some spots for the very first time. Now, speaking of old favorites, there was one spot that Skylar and I agreed we had to start this episode at because it is one of the best bakeries we had visited on this channel, so we'll see you there next. While this restaurant and bakery's history dates way back to 1969, Halas made its debut in Tarpon Springs in the mid-80s and has grown to be perhaps the most widely renowned dining establishment in Tarpon Springs since. While the Halas restaurant may be even more popular than the attached bakery, on this day we were here for the Greek baked goods, and we sure had plenty of them to choose from. We just finished up here at Halas, and that place was just as good as we remember and maybe even a little bit better. There were so many options to choose from. It was really hard not to just order the things that we had tried previously, but ultimately we decided on two new things, a spanakopita and a Greek cannoli. We also got a gingerbread latte because, as you can probably tell, it is Christmas time.
Now, my favorite was the spanakopita, but I gotta say that cannoli surprised me. Typically, I do not love cannolis, but that one had a mixture of a cream cheese and whipped cream filling, and it was also in a light and fluffy pastry. It was really good. We passed on the Greek coffee today because it is Christmas time, and Jamie really wanted that gingerbread latte, but honestly, that surprised me as well. The coffee flavor was really strong. It was stronger than the flavor of the gingerbread, so I like that quite a bit too.
Now, my favorite was the cannoli, but I also really enjoyed the spanakopita. It was basically a spinach pie, and there was more filling in that than I was expecting. The staff warmed it up for us, so the outside was really crunchy and the inside was creamy and warm. I really liked it.
Now, it was awesome being able to start our day off with a delicious Greek breakfast, but if there is one thing that Tarpon Springs is known for, even more than its Greek food, it's sponges. In fact, the area we're in right now is known as the Sponge Docks, and pretty soon we're gonna head over to the waterfront to show you the old sponge boats and some shops. So we just made it back to the waterfront and saw that this sponge boat had just come in, and as you can see, it is loaded with sponges. I'd say I had a successful trip.
The waterfront here at the Sponge Docks is really unique because it is lined with sponge boats, and I don't know where you can find that anywhere else in Florida or even the United States. Now, these boats are on the Anclote River, which does eventually lead out to the Gulf.
Now, Tarpon Springs is actually known as the sponge capital of the world. Back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, thousands of immigrants migrated here from Greece, and for a brief period of time, the sponge industry was actually Florida's largest. It was even bigger than the citrus industry. Now, if you want to learn a whole lot more about the sponge industry and sponge diving, you may want to go out on a tour with St. Nicholas Boat Line, which is on the boat right behind me. Now, we're actually going out on another tour that's going to take us to a beautiful island tomorrow, but if you're more into history than beaches, this tour may be the one for you.
Now, the Sponge Docks are surrounded by a bunch of shops. Of course, you have your typical souvenir shops, and you have your sponge and soap shops that are unique to Tarpon Springs. But then you also have a variety of other things. We have seen liquors from around the world, olive oil, popcorn, beef jerky, so you just never know what you'll find down here. We've walked all the way down to the end of the main shopping area, and I think we're gonna pop into Lori's to see what they've got. I wish y'all could smell this store. It smells amazing. They have a ton of homemade soaps and of course sponges. There's some really giant ones over here. The staff just told us that they make all of their products in here. Now we probably already walked by 10 different sponge shops, but we're so glad we went into Lori's. Not only because they make all of their products in-house, but also because all of their sponges come off the boats right across the street. If you're new to using sponges, the staff here are very helpful. The manager was telling us about the different uses for the different types of sponges because they can be used for so many different things. We ended up with these 2 sponges and also with some goat's milk soap.
Now, before we take you to our lunch spot, we are so excited to let you know that we are partnering with Visit St. Pete Clearwater, not only to show you some of the best things to do here in Tarpon Springs, but also in some of our other favorite Pinellas County destinations.
In addition to this episode here on Explorcation, very soon you'll be able to see even more of our Tarpon Springs experience over on the Visit St. Pete Clearwater channel. Now, their website and channel are great resources for all things Pinellas County, so we would recommend checking out both of those before planning your next Pinellas County getaway. We do have to thank Visit St. Pete Clearwater for sponsoring this video. Now let's go get some lunch.
Now for lunch today, we thought about hitting Rusty Bellies. We have been there before, but it's located right on the water and has some amazing seafood. But we can find great seafood all over Florida, but it's a little bit harder to find great Greek food. So instead we decided to hit up this Greek food stand behind me. It's called Limani, it's cash only, and it's also located right on the water.
There is only outdoor seating here, but it is a beautiful December day, so we are not minding it at all. We ended up ordering the limani salad with their gyro meat, as well as 1 pork kebab and chicken kebab. Oh, that's some tender meat.
Now we don't order kebabs too often because a lot of times we find that they are pretty dried out, but we know the ones here did have some good reviews, so we decided to give them a try. We got the pork and the chicken. Both of them are a little bit charred on the outside and taste really good. Of the two, the chicken is a little more on the drier side, but still good. But the pork is juicy and absolutely fantastic. So between the two, I'd have to go with the pork.
So I thought that chicken kebab was more tender than the pork one, so I am glad we got both of them. But the most tender meat we had today was that gyro meat, so I would recommend putting it on that salad or getting it in a pita.
Now we're actually going to leave the Sponge Docks area to check out some more of Tarpon Springs, but while we make our way to our car, we do want to mention the parking situation here. Now there are a few parking lots in the Sponge Docks area that charge anywhere from like $8 to $10 or so to park all day. And there is also free street parking, but currently we are here at like 12:30 on a Monday, and all those lots seem to be full. The street parking that we found also seems to be mostly full, so if you're planning on visiting this time of year, especially if you're visiting on a weekend, we would recommend showing up early. When we got here around 8:30 this morning, there was plenty of parking then, but right now it seems to be full.
We have made it to downtown Tarpon Springs, and right behind me is the 1910 Inn. And we were kind of hoping to stay here during this trip because it is super cute and very historical, but it is all booked up, partly due to its close location to the St. Nicholas Cathedral, which is only a block away, and we'll see you there next.
Now, if you really want to dive into the history here in Tarpon Springs, you cannot skip the St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Cathedral. It was built way back in 1943 and is the largest and oldest Greek Orthodox cathedral in Florida. Now, this has been the spiritual and the cultural center for the Greek community here in the Tampa Bay area over the last 80 years, and it also hosts the largest epiphany in the entire Western Hemisphere every year on January 6th. Now, there is an event going on in the cathedral currently, so unfortunately we won't be able to show you inside, but we did peek in there and it is stunning.
Our next stop in the downtown area took us to the Tarpon Springs Distillery, which not too surprisingly is located inside a former sponge warehouse. After checking out the bar and stage out back, We made our way back inside just a few minutes before our tour, which runs 7 days a week and can be booked free of charge on the distillery's website. Since we were a bit early, Skylar had just enough time to grab a cocktail from the bar, which included several unique options, all crafted with house-made spirits. Ultimately, he went with the Peach Picante, which he said was a little sweet, quite spicy, and one of the best margaritas he'd ever had, even though we later learned that it's not actually even made with tequila. Before we knew it, it was time for our tour to begin. And as luck would have it, we'd have this tour all to ourselves. While we had previously known that this distillery made whiskey, we soon learned that they make 5 different types of it, including a double gold medal winning rye, and a whole bunch of other spirits too. After the tour, it was time for some samples. And of course, Skylar was happy to try them all, even the ones he didn't think he'd like. And while he did confirm that he's still no fan of ouzo or rye whiskey, he did enjoy pretty much everything else, even this aquavit.
So we just finished up our tour at Tarpon Springs Distillery, and Nico was the best tour guide. He shared so much information about all the different liquors that they distill and bottle there, which include gins, whiskeys, rums, ouzo, moonshine, and a couple of different types of specialty liquors that don't even fall into any of those categories. Now, as much as I did enjoy learning about the distilling process, I think the sampling portion of the tour was my favorite. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed some of their whiskeys, but my favorite had to be the Guaco Loco, which is actually a specialty liquor made with avocados. Now, if you're someone who's not super interested about the distilling process, but just really enjoys a good cocktail, they have you covered there as well. And they even have live music on the weekends.
Our next spot is Tarpon Turtle, which is located right on Tarpon Lake, which is the largest lake in Pinellas County. So we'll see you inside. So the main reason we wanted to come here is because we wanted to watch sunset on the lake, but unfortunately a bunch of clouds rolled in right before sunset, but we still are really enjoying our time here right on the water. This place has a ton of outdoor seating, including these tables that are under tiki huts, and there are a few items that we're excited to try. We wanted to order a few different things, so we got the ceviche stuffed avocado. Skylar, of course, went with the lobster bisque, and I ordered a bowl of their chili because they have cactus in it, and I've never seen that on a menu before, and we also got a side of garlic mashed potatoes. Our server said that the chili would be a little bit on the sweeter side, and she was right, but it's very well balanced. It's sweet, but it also has a bit of a kick. I really like it, and honestly, I don't think I would know there was cactus in there if I didn't read it on the menu. It's really good. I actually think it's the perfect thing to be eating tonight because the breeze is starting to come in off the lake and it's getting a little bit cold. Those chips are really crispy and the avocado is super creamy, and that ceviche is lightly seasoned. It all goes together really well. It's a nice, healthier option.
That is super creamy. There's not big chunks of lobster in it, but it does have a lot of lobster flavor. I think it's just very finely ground up. Overall, it is a solid lobster bisque. We just finished up dinner here at the Tarpon Turtle, and while the food may not have been quite as good as our breakfast and lunch today, the views were easily the best we saw all day, and also the service was great, and honestly, the food was really good as well. I didn't particularly love the chili. It was a little on the sweet side for me, but I did really enjoy the lobster bisque, and my favorite thing was that ceviche stuffed avocado. Overall, it was a really good experience. Good morning. It is about 6:45. The sun is just starting to rise, and it's looking like we got another beautiful day ahead of us. It's going to be a fun one, I think. While Jamie takes her time getting ready this morning, I'm going to show you around our hotel a little bit so you can see where we've been staying the last couple of nights. So since the 1910 was all booked up, we decided to stay at the Quality Inn. Normally Quality Inns are pretty basic and we probably wouldn't bother showing you, but this one's actually pretty cool. This outside area is beautifully landscaped. There's all these flowers blooming. It's got a nice pool. It actually kind of feels like a little resort. Inside here, you can see that the lobby is super spacious. It has really high ceilings. It's decorated nicely for Christmas right now. They have some chill music playing, and they even have a bar tucked away in the corner here. They do offer a breakfast. It is pretty basic, but it is also complimentary. Now, the room itself was clean. The bed was comfortable. It had a microwave and mini fridge, but the best thing about staying here at the Quality Inn was the price. We were able to stay here for 2 nights for only $120 total after tax. We thought that was a great deal, and we would absolutely stay here again, especially at that price.
So we decided to get up really early this morning to enjoy coffee on the beach. Now, most people may not consider Tarpon Springs a beach destination, but they do have a beach in Howard Park. The drive out to this park was really pretty. We passed by a bunch of beautiful houses, the roads were winding, and when you get into the park, there's a bunch of oak canopies and trails, and eventually the road leads out to this beach area. The sand here is pretty soft, but it's also shelly. Today there is quite a bit of seaweed, but honestly, this is more secluded and prettier than we were expecting it to be. But if our day goes as planned, we'll be showing you an even more secluded beach this afternoon.
So after checking out of our hotel this morning, we made our way back downtown, and when we got there, they still had the Christmas lights going on Tarpon Avenue, which was really cool to see. They had that whole downtown area looking really nice. We had explored the downtown area a little bit previously when we biked the Pinellas Trail all the way from St. Pete to Tarpon Springs, but it's really nice to get there again. Now, we totally understand that why when most people visit Tarpon Springs, they spend the majority of their time at the sponge docks, but we would absolutely recommend blocking off some time to explore the downtown area as well. In our opinion, it's totally underrated. It's got so much to offer. It has a ton of shops, some great restaurants, some great breweries, a distillery, and as we found out this morning, a great coffee shop. We were really impressed with the atmosphere at Urban Grounds. They have this really cool loft area, and I gotta say they make some really good coffee as well. I was feeling festive, so I went with the eggnog latte. It's creamy, the eggnog flavor isn't overpowering, and the espresso flavor is really robust. Jamie went with a honey latte with oat milk, and she said that hers is really good too. Now, even though the inside of that coffee shop was really cool, I think taking these coffees to go was the right decision, because being able to enjoy them out here on the beach that we have pretty much all to ourselves was a great way to start off this day.
If you think this video has been a great way to start your morning, afternoon, or evening, we'd love it if you'd hit that thumbs up button or that hype button, because both of those things help this episode reach a wider audience, which helps us to continue to make videos like this one. Next, we'll meet you back at the Sponge Docks for breakfast.
We made it back to the Sponge Docks, and honestly, we were just tempted to go back to Halas Bakery for breakfast this morning because those Greek pastries are out of this world. But we actually received a recommendation recently from one of our viewers about another great Greek bakery here in the Sponge Docks. It's called National Bakery, and we're gonna go check it out right now.
So this bakery is quite small with some outdoor seating out front. When you walk in, the smells are amazing. They have a variety of breads and pastries. I went with kataifi, which I might not be pronouncing it quite right. It is a traditional Greek dessert. It's shredded phyllo dough with a nutty filling. There are so many different textures in that. The top is crunchy, the bottom is soft, and the inside, I'm not sure what kind of nuts are in that, but it kind of reminds me of the filling in a pecan pie. Now, I probably wouldn't recommend this every day for breakfast because it's very sweet and very big, but it is delicious and be a great treat.
Now for my breakfast, I went with the Napoleon. It is not a traditional Greek dessert. I think it's French actually, but it is one of my favorites. It's a layered puff pastry that's full of cream and has powdered sugar on top. Now, the first time I tried a Napoleon dessert was at an Eastern European bakery in Jacksonville, and it was so good. I've tried several since then. None of them have quite lived up to the expectations, but this one tastes exactly like that first one I tried. It's a 10 out of 10. Now, normally Jamie's the one using utensils and I'm the one just eating with my hands, but Jamie thought it'd be easier just to eat it this way.
It is easier. We just finished up at National Bakery. Both of those pastries were ridiculously good and quite large. Now, we could have finished them both, but we didn't want to spoil our appetite for lunch, so we're saving some for later. We did really enjoy that spot, and we think it's another can't miss one here in the Sponge Docks. We do have to thank Harry for the recommendation.
So after the bakery, we made a quick stop by our vehicle to drop off our extra food and to change into some cooler clothes because it is getting hot outside. Next, we're heading out on the water.
Skylar got a rum runner for the ride out to Anclote.
That's very sweet.
You can't bring your own beverages on board, but they sell some mixed drinks, beers, as well as non-alcoholic drinks. If you don't have cash, you can buy tickets at the booth at the Sponge Docks. We're currently leaving the Anclote River and heading out to St. Joseph Sound. The captain said we might see some dolphins. Right behind me is the beach we were at a few hours ago. After spotting some dolphins, we made it to the island and we have about 25 minutes to look for shells and take it in. It's not long, but I still think it's worth it. The water today is super clear out here and it is still low tide, so it's a good time for shelling. I'm not sure if we'll spend much time actually looking for shells. I think we'll probably just walk the beach for a bit. While the water today does look very inviting, it is quite chilly. The tour we're on today with Odyssey Cruises is about 2 hours and I think it was $28 per adult. Now, if you just really love the secluded beach experience, they do offer a 4-hour tour where you get to spend a lot more time on the island.
Now, while we're out here on this beautiful beach, I do want to take a minute to shout out a few of our viewers. As you may recall in our Crystal River episode, we gave a few hints about where we'd be filming today. Now, the first 3 of you to guess Tarpon Springs correctly were Phil Snell, Frank Cabrera, and Chaz Morrissey. So congrats to the 3 of you. Now, normally we do have our next video planned out at least 2 or 3 weeks in advance, but right now we don't know where we're going to be filming next, but hopefully by the time we edit this video, we will know. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the clues on the screen right here while we show you some more beautiful shots of this island.
We're really hoping for good weather because much of our next episode will be spent outdoors and on 2 wheels. Put your best guess in the comments and the first 3 to guess correctly will get a shout out in that video. Today there is quite a bit of seagrass in the area where the tours drop you off at. The last time we were here, which was many years ago, this was much clearer. And today there are 2 tours out here at the same time, so there are quite a few people on the beach. I was able to find some pretty cool shells just along the tide line here, but if I remember correctly, if you're willing to walk out a little bit in the water, you might have better luck finding some bigger ones. If you are shelling out here, you do have to check to make sure that there is nothing living in them.
Now, we should mention that because this island is pretty remote and it's a state park, you're not going to have machines out here picking up the seaweed like you see on your most popular beaches in Florida. And as a result, you are often going to find these beaches covered in seaweed like you see today. Once you get a little bit out in the water, it's super clear, it's a vivid turquoise, and it is gorgeous. So after maybe 20-25 minutes of being out here on the beach, the boat honked its horn, so sadly it is already time to head back. We do wish we had a little bit more time out here, but we still have a little more to show you in Tarpon Springs, so back on the boat we go.
We just got back from our tour and we did have plans to head to lunch, but after those giant pastries this morning, we are not quite yet hungry, but that's okay because we have another spot that's perfect for killing some time back downtown.
We are once again back downtown on Tarpon Avenue, and that place that Jamie was talking about is right across the street at the Replay Museum. And from what we've heard, it's anything but your typical museum. We'll see you in there.
I've ever seen a pinball machine that is this old school. Skylar had to come play Cubert.
At first, yeah. So we just finished up here at Replay and it was a lot of fun. We were both really impressed by the variety of pinball machines they have here. I'm pretty sure some of them date way back to the 60s. Now right away I spotted the Who Pinball Wizard machine, so we had to start off on that one. And I think it's safe to say that neither of us play a mean game of pinball, but Jamie is definitely better than me. She beat me in all of our games, but I did kick her butt in Cubert at least, because she kept accidentally jumping off the sides. Now the cool thing about this place is that if you pay the $16 entrance fee, you do get to play unlimited games of pinball and video games. Now we think that's a really good deal and that this place is definitely worth stopping into, but if you're gonna stop in, make sure you have some time to get your money's worth.
We've made it back down to the Sponge Docks for a late lunch, and it probably comes as no surprise that we're having more Greek food.
So for our lunch here at Mykonos, we ordered a gyro and the lamb fricassee, which did come with a side, and we got the soup. The soup is lemon chicken. It tastes kind of like chicken noodle soup, but has orzo in it and a hint of lemon. We both tried it and thought it was really good. Now there was no way we were going to spend 2 days in Tarpon Springs without getting a gyro, and the one at Mykonos did not disappoint, but still I think the highlight of that meal for both of us was that lamb fricassee. It came covered with a vegetable we'd never had before called endive. I describe it as kind of like a combination of spinach and cabbage. It was a little bit bitter, but pretty good. It also came in a lemon dill egg sauce that we thought might be a little bit weird, but we both loved, and the lamb itself was super tender.
Thanks so much for checking out another one of our favorite Florida destinations. Now, if you want to explore even more of Florida with us, make sure you're subscribed and turn those notifications on. Thanks for watching.